Welcome to Friendverse, the podcast. This is Wandia.
And this is Shiko.
Yeah, I hope everyone has been good. Us guys are still here,
We are.
which is
we are.
actually something to be very happy about.
And proud. I'm actually very proud of ourselves for
Yeah.
keeping this going.
Congratulations to us.
I know, Kabsa. Let's
Drink
drink to that.
Yes!
This is why we get along.
This is where we get along.
So, Wandia.
Yeah, so I have this little something delicious to read for you guys. And it comes from Bell Hooks, All About Love. It's such a fantastic read.
Mm-hmm.
Please read it. Anyways, here we go. The rugged individual who relies on no one else is a figure who can only exist in a culture of domination where a privileged few use more of the world's resources than the many who must daily do without. Worship of the individualism has in part led us to the unhealthy culture of narcissism that is so all-pervasive in our society. Goose fucking bumps.
What?
Like,
You know, okay, to be honest, if I read that a while back, I would feel very red.
right,
Because that was me.
right.
It was those all self-sufficient stuff.
In fact, I feel like you've called me out in some way about this aspect of individualism that was creeping up on me, maybe because of jadedness in some way.
Yes.
You know, you get hurt
Yeah.
a lot, and then you're
Yes.
like, actually, if someone leaves me hanging, okay, it's fine, okay, thanks for coming for this ride. And I guess you've gone left now. And this aspect of saying that I don't expect anything from you, I don't expect you to
Which is
behave
a big lie.
nicely towards me. That time we've already established that we have some type of this way and that way. We have a motion that we go through. Yeah.
Yes.
And then, and that's the way life is right now.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it so clearly how capitalism pushes individualism. I see it. And you know what people replace people with? With things. You go and buy all these things. You go buy alcohol. You buy clothes. You buy all these things to fill the gap
Yes.
that should have been filled with people.
With community.
Let me tell you, it has been in my head for so long. I remember I was even telling my friend that I'm trying to come up with words to explain what I feel about building community. I still haven't reached there because I haven't written the blog post. It's coming. But as in, that is my thing right now. Creating community, building community. And I feel like that's what people should be focusing on that togetherness, because that individualism is not the wave. It's not.
It really is not. And we've been led with and this capitalism thing, it's not only with financial resources or economic resources, it's even with emotional resources. You're like, okay, I'm gonna waste it. Okay, then let me just keep it in my locker. I will not let it out. I will not put myself out there. I will not be caring to this person because I'm not so sure if they will return it. I'm going to be like, let me save that for myself, prevent myself from getting hurt. So let me just remain alone. Because when we put ourselves out there, when we put we extend olive branches, we are like offering a hand to someone else, and we're saying, I can meet you where we are, where we can have a common point and be like, me and you can do this. But right now people are like, I don't want to take the risk. Maybe I'm going through a lot of things and I'm like, I don't want to go through the whole idea of getting hurt, and it doesn't make sense for me. And in All About Love, when Bell Hooks talks about community and the way she talks about love will be the healing to all these things that we're suffering from, it kind of feels fluffy, but then she breaks it down in such a way that it hits you in the gut. It's like, shit, that really is making a lot of sense.
Yes.
And I really have been holding back in these aspects because I'm like, I don't want to take that risk. And maybe it's better to go off it alone. And then you think about all those moments where you have chosen to extend an olive branch and chosen to build a community and chosen to select people as your tribe or as your friends, as your confidants, and then you see how beautiful it is, and then it reminds you that there might be something here, and so many of us don't want to do that. We don't want to see that beauty, maybe because also life has just muddled that vision.
Okay, can I just so the first thing I want to talk about is hurt.
Yes,
because we also hurt ourselves, but we don't often give up on ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I feel like living your life like without taking that risk on someone because you will be hurt is a very short-sighted way to see life, because you will be hurt. As in, if you live life with that, of course there's variances on how you'll be
as
hurt.
certain as death and taxes.
Yes, because even you do something to yourself, and then you're like, oh my God, what was I thinking? So you've hurt yourself, but you never think about that, like giving up on yourself, because it's you. So I feel like it's a very short-sighted way to be like, I will not build a community because previously I've been hurt.
But even thinking of choosing not to build a community is kind of giving up on yourself.
Yes.
Because look at yourself when you're in a community. Oh my God, I'm a really
blossom.
Beautiful person.
Exactly.
When I'm alone and I'm just surly and I'm at home and I don't talk I mean, there's some benefit towards that, building solitude and learning about yourself and everything. But there's this beauty of connecting with other people, letting them see even the negative sides of you, and them, also being like, I still see so much more than this thing that you're focusing on. And in this community, in this relationship that we have together, there's so much more that there can be for us, that you even lose sight of those little things that you've been maybe obsessing over, that I'm not really a good friend, I am not social, but you've noticed, like, when you're with people, like for me, I would say I'm an introvert, but my close friends will be like, hey, that bitch is loud as hell. Yeah. She's just a lot. And I'm like, that means if you're able to see that part of me, it means that I'm being vulnerable around you.
Exactly.
You're bringing out the side of me that is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I deserve that. Other people deserve to see that.
Exactly.
Because then it also helps them maybe to even leave their shell or feel more hopeful about life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think also part of it is we need to ask ourselves, when we are creating communities or when we are letting people into our tribe, how are we doing it? Because for so long, we work with some certain misnomers. Is misnomer the right word? I'm not sure. But what I'm saying is, okay, so if you invite people in and have no expectations of them, you're already doing it wrong.
Yes.
Because relationships by nature have expectations. Yes. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, are you having honest communication?
Yes.
Because if you're not, if someone, let's say, says something or does something that hurts you, do you talk about it? Or is it those ones where you hold this thing in and then you get hurt and then you're like, oh my God, I'm done with people. But even you were not honest in that relationship.
You're setting yourself up, to be honest.
Exactly. So I feel like there are certain ways we set ourselves up and then we get hurt and then we are like, I'm done with people. Yeah. But really, you did not approach these things. Not to say that there is a correct way to do it and not to say that approaching it XYZ will mean you won't get hurt. Yeah. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that when there are certain things that are done, when there's this open communication, there's honesty, there's reciprocity, there is love, and then there's that love where I'm not holding back one tear by telling you that I love you.
Yes.
You know, me, that's the thing that I don't get. You know, someone can love someone and then they don't even say it. Right. Because it's like if you say it, something... I don't know.
I mean, it's been made into a big thing that now, oh my God, newsflash. Okay, breaking news. Okay, can we hold the phone? Like, what the fuck? Like, well, there's a lot of curses.
Like, but if you love someone, by the way, keeping quiet about it does not change the fact that you love them.
You know, this is like the best thing. Yeah. It's Ari Fitz on Instagram. Those of you who follow her. She screen grabbed a tweet of hers onto onto IG, and she was asking, when is the appropriate time to tell someone that you love them? And then Hey Fran, was like, immediately I feel that I'm going to tell them.
And do you know, I saw that.
Hallelujah!
Let me tell you, following Fran is good for your soul.
I know. Oh my God.
Following Fran makes you realize that you have so many hang-ups that are necessary. I'm sorry.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
she has a beautiful soul. By the way,
soul.
in the dictionary, look up beautiful soul.
And
it's Francesca.
There she is. She just seems... also that thing I hesitate putting people on pedestals, but please.
I know.
Guy, it's so hard not
She's so, as in, honestly, I love Fran. To be honest.
See, the way we've just said, you love this. Yeah, I've never met her.
Even me.
Don't know her personal life and everything.
Yeah.
I just rely on what she gives us on Instagram
and what her friends
her
that
podcast.
we follow.
Yeah.
As in, even her friends are
That's just
there.
the way it is.
Yeah. Even her
friends,
like, they're always like in awe of her spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this thing and us heterosexuals, we're the ones who are very encumbered with this problem of...
I agree.
Of when you say you love someone, okay, there we go. Now things have gone left.
Mm-hmm.
Someone is like, okay. Simmer down. Like, relax.
I know.
Just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Like, I did not want it to be this complicated. And I'm like, and no, I if I love you, see, I love you.
Exactly.
I love the person you make me, or
I love
the type of things that you make me feel.
Yes. And when we are together, and I love our relationship and all those things.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. But I feel like people feel like if they say it, it's like it will be used against them. Honestly, I feel like that's what it is. And more so, I feel like in friendships especially, that I love you doesn't happen. It's like I love you is saved for romantic relationships, which is so sad. No, at least women to women will be like, I love you, and it won't have that hang up. Try and two men who are friends. I'm telling you, if you're a man and you're listening to this and you recently told a male friend that you love them, please DM me immediately. I want to know, because it's true, because I just read an article on Modern Love. There's the podcast Modern Love, and then there's the New York Times Modern Love. So it was this guy who used to tell his friend, who's a man, I love you, and the guy would never respond. And then he was like, for men, it's always those ones of love you, bro, or love you, homie. It's never just I love you.
And even that, I love
I know.
These days it takes so much to be like, I love you.
It's not those ones of love you, love ya.
Love ya. Love ya.
What the hell?
You're you.
And the thing is, you're depersonalizing it. So yes, you're feeling it, but you feel like by not saying the I, by saying love ya or love you, you're depersonalizing it, that it will somehow save you from looking a certain... I don't know. Why do people do it?
An interesting tidbit of mine, whenever I speak with my mom, she will always end the conversation with, I love you. That's making me a bit emotional right now. Yeah, but and often it always makes me feel a lot, because then I'm like, it makes me break down many things. I think about how a relationship is, how easy it is for her to tell me I love you, and what those words come with. Is there a responsibility towards them? Is she thinking about them? Because I'm thinking about them. I'm thinking a lot about them. And actually, it's interesting that of late we've been talking with her like every week, or maybe even twice a week, and everything.
Really?
I know.
I talk to my mother every day. Jesus.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, for me, this is like an achievement, like every week or maybe twice a week. So for me, things are changing, And I was thinking the other day, man, I miss, So anyway, this is...
that's okay. You've brought up something interesting in that someone else saying, I love you, what it means to them,
Yes.
or what they're thinking of when they say it, or is it just perfunctory? This phone call is ending. I love you. You know what I'm saying?
It's like
so
an
is
exit.
it? Yeah, is it? But as we've always said, one day especially, you're the one who's always said, "What are words if the actions are not there?"
Not there.
But now you bring up another aspect about family, because I didn't grow up in a family that said "I love you"
Yes.
or any of those words. Actually, me telling my mom that I love her is how she started telling me that she loves me. Otherwise, before that, "I love you" was like a rumor in our house from our parents. Of course, the siblings, you know, because we
the
are...
siblings, you guys say.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, that's some new information, but congrats.
Congratulations
to all
to us.
involved.
Yeah, no, the siblings, we do. The parental unit, on the other hand, my mother does. Let me
that
just
is
say that.
so cute. Oh, the thought. Actually, oh well, okay.
Yeah. No, but and that's what I'm saying. You know, when you build your community, it is your choosing. It's not the people who are imposed in your life.
Yeah.
It's these people, even if they are your family, you're actively choosing them to be in your life.
I think this is where I am right now, that you see, with family, you don't choose, right? And we'll probably discuss this in a future episode.
Yeah.
But now I have started trying to meet people halfway in my family.
Yeah.
But also making sure that there are those boundaries.
Of course, as we discussed previously.
Yes, exactly. And well, with some of the siblings, maybe we haven't reached there.
Yeah.
But I do want to make it known that I'm still interested in building a community even with my family. You know, we usually assume that, I mean, if we look at it through the eyes of the government, our family is like our community.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But then internally, do I think of my family as a community? And then I think this is what I've been trying to do with some of my siblings, moving away from, you know, the way we have a family WhatsApp group. I want to be like, no, we can still have a conversation between me and you.
Exactly.
Without the idea that
it
on
has
the
to
WhatsApp
be,
group, you know, sometimes I feel like it is some type of a Twitter where people are performing.
Exactly.
And I'm like, you know what? I don't really appreciate that.
No,
because sometimes
I know what
people
you're
are
saying.
like, one day is the last born.
Yeah.
So
No,
this is the way she's treated on the WhatsApp group. And I'm like, now I've kind of chilled out on the whole WhatsApp group thing, and I'm like, you meet me where I am, and let's see. And I'm like, we are able to have a fantastic conversation, and I think I'm able to communicate that I still appreciate our relationship, and I think it also settles their worries. I think they worry.
No, but I agree on that thing of having conversations outside of our WhatsApp group.
Yes.
Because I feel like WhatsApp groups, there's everything that can be discussed in the group, and then there's those things where, because even us, Wandia, there's groups, and then there's one-on-one conversations.
Yeah.
And I feel even in my family, there is the group, and there's still those ones where I'll talk to my mom separately, I'll talk to my siblings separately, you know, like that. And it's important because those cords that bind those relationships are separate from what binds the group together.
Yes.
You understand?
And if you think about it, like in the past, I've been in friend groups where maybe I have not had a personal relationship with each one person in that group. But now I can honestly say that in the friend groups that I am in currently, that each one of the people who are in that friend group, I do have a specific relationship with
and
each
it's important.
And I'm like, I think now, truly, that's how you know you have a tribe, because it means that each person in that group, you have a common point, you have an understanding, and in that way, it makes perfect sense that we're in the same community, you know. We have a meeting point, right? Because often we feel like, oh, yeah, I have this group of friends. But then when we say we have a group of friends, what does it really mean?
Exactly.
And even with family, I mean, it goes across all these ranges where it's a group of friends, with your family, with even your workmates, with whatever. But would you really say that you have a one-on-one relationship with this person so that you're like, yeah, this person is my person? Yeah.
And I want to just be clear, even when I am thinking about building community, I'm not saying that everyone in this community that I'm building needs to get along. It is me, I'm the person, so I'm in the middle, for example, and then there's this circle around me, which I'm considering my community. And all those people don't even need to know each other. They don't need to, even like each other, but they're my community.
Yes, yours.
Exactly. So even as you make those because I feel like that's the other thing that people misconstrue. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That all your friends need to get along.
Friends.
You know what I'm saying?
I think there's a tweet for that. I think I even shared with you, like, when you invite all your friends to your birthday.
they don't need to get along.
It's
they're
like,
there for you, yes.
They're there for me.
But
this is my community.
Exactly. They don't need to get along.
Yeah.
And that
and to be honest, it's kind of up to me to be like, how do I really want to expose each one of my friends to this other aspects of, these different facets of my community. And it's up to me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if all my community show up, then that's my community.
Exactly.
Regardless of whether they are male, female, from which or wherever, however you define. It's all for the purpose of, we meet at one point for the purpose of me.
Yes.
And it's me.
Yeah.
But
you're the unifying factor. So, and then now I've remembered there's a trans person that I follow. And the person talked about, on an IG story, the person talked about biological family versus emotional family. And I think that is important in what we are discussing now.
Yeah.
It was a podcast. Okay, so I follow the person, then they were in a podcast. Yes. So that's what the person was talking about, that they have created this emotional family outside of the biological family, which of course, as usual, as always, I feel so bad, were not understanding. You understand? So it was a question about family. So the person said that they have created an emotional family that surrounds them, And even for me, as I'm thinking about building community, there are things that there's that expectation of your family should know your deepest, darkest secrets. I don't believe that.
Oh, yeah.
I believe whoever you have cultivated the relationship with, who has created the safe space, who has reciprocated your everything, that is your family.
Indeed. And you said this is from someone who's trans, and I do believe like this is very common amongst queer communities, that they have to build a different family because in their biological family they are usually rejected, which is such a sad state of affairs. And you talking has reminded me this time with my family. I don't know, I think it's like a year now where we now started this thing for every 2 months we meet up and we just hang out, And I remember there was this time when everyone is meant to say something, and I was like, it would be great if we could build a space where you guys know what I'm dealing with, my challenges in life, because they don't. Even when we think of financial, emotional, like, it's sad, but I wouldn't say like my family are the ones who know me. They probably know I work at this place, I was born here, I went to school here, I did this when I was young, but I wouldn't say they know me as I am right now.
Yeah.
And I said that, and I remember I, like, you know the way you get a potato at the end of your throat? Because I was like, that would be such a beautiful thing that the people who I was born into, like, let's say people who biologically I was connected to would be also the people who I would choose. I don't think I have ever I've never had that emotion where that has happened.
The connection.
And so, of course, then I had to choose a tribe, whether it was with different points of my life. Maybe in campus, I was like, Isaac people are like my family. And then when you leave, you're like these people, the next. But I've never really felt like those are the people who I would choose every day to know. Like, these are the challenges. I mean, when was the last time I even talked about a boyfriend? Like, they don't even know
what's happening.
They don't know even what's happening. I'm just like, the people are like, okay, so this fella, okay, we might be getting married. It's a bit tricky, but like, they're not the people who know these things.
And I feel like, okay, so there's a whole conversation about family, because I feel like you're not the only one probably who African family, let me say African family, who experiences that emotion. You know what I'm saying? So you're born into this family and you're not able to have an emotional connection with them. That is like a script in African families. Like, we want that connection. We feign that connection. We perform that connection. But if we really think about it, the connection isn't there. So we are performing this thing that is not there.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I feel like that we should tackle that maybe in the next episode, because that will be like 2 hours of talking.
That essence of, I think with community, the essence of choice is so integral. It's like, what is the defining factor? Who you are choosing
exactly
every day. It's like love. The way you're married, you choose every day to love this person, to be in a relationship with this person. It's the same thing with community, and that's why I don't think it's only with romantic type of situations where you choose every day,
even
but
friendship.
with your community, you choose every day to be like, I will show up for these people in this way. I will help them to be the better person. I will let them in on my, what I'm going through. I'll be vulnerable.
Honest.
I will communicate.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know. Okay, so you've made me think of something. When we are talking about honest communication, why is it that you think that people feel like not like holding on to information or holding on to these things that hurt us? Why is it that we feel like sharing it with these people we consider our friends? Why do we feel like we are kind of chopping off a part of our body? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I'm like,
no trust,
why are you like suffering in silence and you have people that you consider your friends?
I think it's trust. I feel like it's even ego. You're like,
do you know, I feel it's ego. I don't think it's trust. I think it's ego.
Both of them. Because you're like, okay, what if one day I uses this information against me?
Then why are you friends with that person? Okay, fine. You can't tell if someone will use it against you or not.
This is
granted.
True.
But I feel like at the point where you're having those misgivings about someone, either have the conversation about it or don't consider that person your tribe. Because as we know, there are hierarchies of friendship. Yes. So when I'm talking about community, I'm talking about inner circle stuff. So if that person is inner circle stuff, why are you feeling like sharing this thing that's happening to you that you're feeling pain about? Like this week, someone asked me, are you really okay? Because I was just in the car. So I told them that I'm in the car and I haven't yet left the car to go into the house. So they were like, are you okay? Then in my head I was like, is there really something that's bothering me that I'm not able to leave the car? Or am I just, chilling in the car?
Yes.
So I told them that I'm okay. I'm just chilling in the car, because there's always that essence of someone is hiding something from you or keeping something away from you. Yet this is someone that I share my day, like most of what I'm doing during the day with. So like we have many conversations
Yeah,
during the
yeah.
day, so they know like if something is up or not.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's what
They can
made me,
feel the energy.
they can feel the energy, and if I'm feeling weird. So I'm like, at that point, one day you and I talk every day. You can tell if I'm off. I can tell if
Yes.
you're off.
Yes.
So if you cannot
Indeed.
share something with me,
Yeah.
why are we considering each other community?
I don't know, sometimes, and I will maybe speak maybe a bit for myself. I will be like protecting other people from, you know, the way you can offload a lot and you're like, let me measure. I will be like, maybe this one time I'll be like, you know, I'm not 100% okay. I'm going through a lot. I won't say Ati, this and this and this and this and this is happening.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're talking to me, it feels like someone cares. I feel valued and I appreciate that. Like, I really don't have the energy to break it down to you.
Yeah.
But as long as you know that, to be honest, I'm not on 100%, I feel like that's effective enough.
I think so too. I agree.
For meeting where we are in our relationship.
And
you may not be able to know, like, in specific,
that is fine.
this person did this or this happened and this happened. But sometimes I'm like, maybe it won't be you. Maybe it will be another friend who knows the whole story. But then, you know, sometimes it's like, will I keep on narrating this same story to everyone?
And
maybe like, you know, one person will be the one who will know the others.
And
and
that's
maybe
how you learn to create. And I feel like those are the things. You see what you've just said? Those are the things we need to work with, because there's that thing where we think we should tell everything to everyone. No. But me, I'm very big on, like, for example, if I know I'm going to be offline, the people I talk to every day, by the way, I'll just tell them, by the way, I'm offline. You know, because I'm like, they deserve to know, because this is someone I talk to every day.
You know, you've said this thing for being offline.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I also thought of my do not disturb.
But
this
I know
is
you
like
have
a
it.
way. Yeah, but I feel it's only fair to have a favorites list.
Yeah.
And then to be like, with these people who always contact me,
Yeah.
who I've already established that we talk a lot,
Community.
whomst I have
Created a community.
Wow.
It's because you
Well.
want to say create a community
know,
and you're
like,
not saying,
Hey,
just say
I'm like,
it.
these people who are in my life,
Yeah.
I feel like even beyond business hours,
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, you can contact me. And I'll be also trust that you won't just call me randomly
Yeah.
at 1 a.m. to be like, oh, I was just feeling like, oh, how are you doing?
Who's
like,
calling you at 1 a.m.?
Or
Honestly.
even 10 a.m.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
you know,
Okay.
whichever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know the people who have put on my favorite list, if they're
Yeah.
calling me late,
Yeah.
there's something important.
Exactly. And that's what I'm talking about, like that boundary. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
people who will not cross that boundary, and that's why they are community. So there are levels to this thing. They are levels, because people who are in that level respect you as a person. They respect your time.
I
They
mean,
respect.
hopefully.
No, and
Like, you know,
don't say
you have, no, you know, at the end of the day, people are people.
yeah, true. When
People
we
make
are fallible,
mistakes
yeah,
and everything.
yeah.
But, you know, sometimes I will trust that you, Shiko, you may make a mistake this time and this time, but we show it like we have an agreement.
Yeah.
And I will rely on that agreement
Yes.
until the day I'm like, well, this agreement, I have carried it on my back and it seems more like a load than, you know, something that is important in my life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and this is where also that aspect of trust, even in community, there is trust that you will follow what we've agreed, that even when you apologize, I will trust that you will rectify.
Yes.
You
And
know.
also trust that if there is an issue, you will come to me and tell me. Not the assumption that I should know.
Yes. Or now become passive aggressive.
Yes.
Oh my God,
Yes.
that's my
And that's what
the worst.
And that's what I'm saying when I'm talking about when you create a community. That's what I'm saying. Some of these things should be discussed.
Yes.
Communication is key, because if we have this understanding, then there's nothing that is beyond what we can discuss.
Yes.
You know.
You know,
and
to be
and
honest, Okay. Were you about to say something?
No, I was just about to say, and hopefully the people in your community are open to receive.
Yes. Yeah.
Whatever it is, all of you are discussing.
Or even just understanding that I may give you critical feedback, but that doesn't mean that, I may be serious when I'm very critical, and maybe I'll hurt your feelings when I'm telling you something. But also, don't get lost in your feelings.
Yes.
I mean, it feels bad, but don't magnify it when it feels like, oh my God.
And then
Wandia has told me, like, I don't love her, and the way I'm behaving is just so the end of the world.
And the only thing that can happen now is the friendship needs to end.
Yeah.
I don't, that is
and
what
I'm like,
can
how
we not
about
discuss?
Improve? Me telling
or
you.
Forgive. Or forgive.
Yes. I'm like, no, even beyond forgiveness, it's those ones for, I've given you critical feedback. What I want from you is a change. Don't immediately feel like,
but yes,
I can't do this and be like, okay, maybe the best thing is we end whatever we are doing.
or also you on your part, it's like every second you're waiting for the person to mess up. It's like the both sides of the equation. It's both sides of the equation.
The sag in me who is very petty. I'm just like, okay, this is who you are.
Exactly.
You mess up often.
Yeah, you're waiting. So they're both sides.
Yeah,
and that's where, I don't know, we have to grow up. I'm sorry.
Grow
I know
the
you.
Fuck up. Thank you. That is a quote. You need to grow the fuck up.
Yeah, because not everything needs to be like to. There is the bigger picture,
yes,
which is the community you've created and the relationship you've created, and then there's the details, which are these things now that you're agreeing upon with this person. Of course, there are those ones that are they break the relationships. We're not discussing that. We are talking about the things that you can discuss with this person, and then you change and whatever. So for both your ends, this person accepts the feedback, and then also it's not like you have a notebook over there like check. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so there's the bigger picture and there's the little details. So let's not lose sight.
Yeah, I will admit for me, I'll always be like, whoa, is this a repeat of the past?
We are all like that. We have to unlearn that
am I
thing,
playing
man.
myself to let this person apologize and be like, okay, I'm gonna trust that you're gonna change. What the fuck a word?
What a word!
You said sorry, but what is sorry?
But I feel like also, okay, fine, let's give ourselves the benefit of the doubt that we chose a person who will be willingly to listen, who will be willing. No, I feel like it's the easier route to break off with that person. And then, do you know how much work it is to bring now a new person into you? Do you realize?
God.
So I'm like, if it's a thing that you cannot deal with, just let it go. That's fine. But if it's something where you give feedback and the person seems willing to, and you can see and whatever. Now again, don't be over there like just waiting for them to mess up so that you can.
This particular point,
you know what I mean.
You did it the same way as you did it 6 months ago.
Exactly.
Okay, girl.
You know what I'm saying? As in, I've been telling you over and over again. And then I don't know. You're not giving someone the space and.
It's tough. And I was going to bring back this idea of when you choose to be vulnerable.
Yes.
It comes with a lot of drama.
It does. Well, not a lot. I don't think it's a lot. It's just like we like to focus on like when it's positive, we are like, oh, positive. And then when it's negative, it's like on 100.
Let me just say my personal experience. It's like, there's a lot of things going on in life. You have your professional, you have your friends, you have your family. There's many things. Like, it gets overwhelming. So you feel like you want to, with my friends, this is my community. Like, they know. But now these other people who are like, maybe they're trying to inch into my community.
They're on the periphery.
When you choose, when you've said to yourself that, you know what, I'm trying to be vulnerable. And I'm like, I'll be loving and I want to introduce new experiences in my life.
It's not easy though.
It's not easy.
I don't know why you're expecting
You're
it to be
always
easy.
questioning yourself.
I
Oh my
know.
God. So
You're
is
questioning
this person,
everything.
this apology, was it legit?
Even when they say
That
something,
action.
when they say something, you're like, did they even mean it?
Yeah, exactly. When they acted like this, see, they chose to act like this because they did not.
They made a choice. Sometimes it can just be a mistake, but to you, you
Hey,
feed it
You're-
until it becomes this monster.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, Shiko, like we are just on the same page. Anyways, what makes me feel a bit safe at the end of the day is that I actually have this group of people who I know will be there, and I'll be there for them, regardless of these other non-entities.
They are entities. They're just on the peripheries.
They're on the periphery trying to,
come in.
get into
They
this,
might.
this
They might
space.
come
They
into
might
the
they
tribe.
might not, and everything.
Which is
And
fine. That's
it's a
how
process.
it is. No, and it is
You
a
can't
process.
go through your
You
life
just
knowing
don't
that
enter.
one person is in your tribe. Like
Yeah.
it's natural
Do you
for us humans to
know-
be social.
Yeah, and do you know how much pressure you're putting on that one person? Like, I'm like,
Right.
be fair, man. Spread the
No,
risk
thank you.
for heaven's sake.
Thank you for telling me that, because sometimes I'm just like, sometimes I really go in on people. Like, excuse me, I did not ask for this.
No,
Like-
spread the risk.
Yeah.
Spread
This is
because,
true.
and
Also,
that's the thing.
I think be chill.
Mm,
Like, just breathe.
yeah,
Sometimes when
Yeah.
you feel like this person is just trying you, sometimes breathe.
yeah.
And I have these words written on my wrist, and
Tattoo.
sometimes it's hard.
Mm,
Even just remembering that.
mm,
It's a reminder all the time to just breathe. When you go through these moments where people are trying you and these situations are trying you and you're being challenged that, well, isn't this the person you chose that you are, like, and this person is trying you
You're
to be
allowed
like,
to change your mind, though. You are.
you really are.
Yeah. So I want to read two things before.
Please read.
Yeah, before we continue, and they're both tweets that are relevant to the whole essence of community
Oh
building.
yay, Twitter.
Yeah, I know, but I got them a while back. So, yeah, they're both tweets. And the first one says, "What makes you believe that the world owes you nothing? That your community has no obligations towards you? That we owe nothing to each other? When did you start believing this astonishing idea?"
The Kenyan government has got us fucked up.
It's capitalism. I mean, that's what it is. That's what
We
it is,
know this.
because as in we know better. I feel like
Yeah.
in the recess of our minds,
Oh,
we
yeah.
know better. We know
We
that
know
we are
better.
social creatures. We know that we need other people.
You know
But
what it is.
we are fed these things that make us believe that, oh my God,
We're still minimizing the hurt.
yeah. But
But
we are
it
not
is.
really minimizing. In the end, you still feel so alone. And I feel like, why is feeling that essence of aloneness,
but
and
listen,
you're hungry
you're-
for
you're-
this thing, but you can't make yourself go to, that's hurt. That's
Girl,
still, you're hurting
and
yourself.
and this is something you're hurting yourself, but you don't
Yes.
realize this because it's like you're numbing yourself.
Yes, with things that you buy
And other things.
and alcohol.
Those ones where you're just trying to tell you, also this voice in your head telling yourself, you know what? No, you don't deserve this. You don't have to do this.
You don't have.
And
You're good
this
by
person doesn't-
yourself.
You're good by yourself.
Mm.
And all
Lies.
this hurt has made us think we should give up.
We
We
shouldn't.
shouldn't. I know it feels painful right now.
Yeah.
I know it's painful sometimes, and you just feel like, let me just silence the whole world and everything.
But when you do that, you're also hurting yourself. And when you hurt yourself, you don't magnify it like when other people are hurting you. But it's the biggest hurt.
it's a lot.
It is the biggest hurt.
because it's like you're conditioning yourself to behave in a new way
yeah.
that eventually will fuck up.
You need
So
you
many
need
things.
you need to be compassionate to yourself.
Yes.
I feel like it's important to have self-compassion and then open yourself up to people.
remind yourself that you deserve love from other people.
You do, and you're worthy.
And that hurt will come.
It will come
naturally from the process.
Yeah. You're worthy of love, and you are worthy of.
I think we're scared also
of a community.
You know, we are scared.
Yeah, we are.
Like,
but
for
you know,
me, to be honest, I don't want to be hurt anymore.
But you'll hurt yourself. When you hurt yourself, you know when people say I don't want to be hurt, it's like other people. So what about when you're hurting yourself? Are you afraid of hurting yourself? You don't even think about it because it will happen. You don't. Yeah. You don't. And yet you hurt yourself. I'm just saying. And that's what I'm saying. The magnification. Can you relax? Can you relax?
Well, we'll buy you the t-shirt. Okay. We'll buy you the t-shirt.
No, what I'm saying is you hurt yourself, but you never magnify
you never
that.
Feel it like that.
Yeah,
but when people are here, like,
how dare you? How dare
you? Like
you.
The way in Little Mermaid, Ursula just expands with rage. That really how it be when people hurt you. Yeah. You're just like stewing.
You stew. And then you hurt yourself. And then
you hurt yourself, like,
and then you hurt yourself again. And then, and then you don't learn the lesson.
Wow, I feel red. Okay, but anyway.
My thing is, we are social beings. Now that I'm thinking about it, because Brené says it all the time, watch the Netflix special, the Brené Brown Netflix special.
Amazing.
I know, right? Because she does talk about how we are social beings and all that stuff. So we are trying to fight this thing that we are. And fighting that thing, you're hurting yourself.
You're hurting yourself.
You are hurting yourself because you're fighting this thing that we are social creatures. As in, I don't care. Even what's his name in that movie where he was shipwrecked, and then he made a friend out of a ball and named it Wilson. Do you know the movie I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. You might be too young for this movie.
Wow.
But it's Tom Hanks.
But I will say at this point, Shika usually feels like Shizuko Methuselah, but okay.
No!
We are still here.
Castaway, 2000. It came out in 2000. Were you not in like high school or primary or something? Exactly. You were in primary. Oh my God. I've just calculated. Please. Okay, I was an adult. Anyway, even in Castaway, like Tom Hanks struggled because he was alone. You know what I'm saying? Even what's his name? You know that story? It's a novel. Then his friend was like, it probably is a racist book, but he had a person called Friday.
Yeah.
Do you know the book I'm talking about?
No,
Treasure Island.
Let's go on.
I don't know. Anyway, we are social beings. Stop fighting it because you're hurting yourself. Yes. And then you won't sit down and ask yourself, why am I hurting myself? Yeah.
But the growth of realizing that you're going through a rough emotional patch and then asking yourself, why do you feel bad about this? Then you start being critical with yourself. Oh, it's because I was left. Or it's because this person doesn't really respect me in that way, or they don't want to love me in the way that I need to be loved or communicate to me. I don't occur to them. And it's painful, but the growth, like for me, I feel like that is my most.
That is fine. Okay, I get it. People are fallible and they'll do all these things to you. But at that point, when you're thinking to yourself, am I making the right decision in who I'm choosing to be in my life? So yes, you're being left. So yes, it's good you look outward to these people and be like, they're hurting me. But what is the common ground of these people who are leaving you? Are you choosing people who are choosing you?
I would feel like at this point in my life
now, yes, I'm talking about that heart that festers from back in the day, and then you carry it.
Oh well, yeah. Sometimes you magnify things in your head.
Yeah,
you create situations and be like, oh, but they did this one time, and then. But now, these days, I'm very careful to note that is there some type of consistency before I be like, oh, you may make one mistake, but even in that one mistake, is there consistency in your behavior towards me?
Yeah.
If there is that type of consistency and we still have an agreement of what exactly we are trying to do. You know, because I think with every relationship you're trying to achieve something. It's like I think that's what's guiding me these days. If I feel like at one point you're really not trying, not, there's no consistency at all, then I'll be like, you know what, I feel sad about this, because maybe I wanted something that you also don't want,
friendship,
and it doesn't work, and be like, well.
And that's the thing, even when we are choosing our community, it has to be people who want to be in your community. Because you can want certain people, but they don't want you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You have to be in that level where you are agreeing.
Be where you're wanted.
Yes, go where you're wanted. That's episode, I don't know, 6 or something. But yes, go where you're wanted. That's number 1. Number 2, I want to just stress that I don't have all the answers. I know sometimes I talk like, oh my God, I know these things. I really don't. Because even me,
trisex.
We are trisex. Me, I know I've been left just the other day. I'm like, oh my God, seriously? Serious? You know?
Yes.
So it does
People
happen to
will
me.
teach you lessons. You know, by the way, we are still young. You may be Methuselah.
Up in this bitch.
But I feel like at whatever point in our lives, there'll be these people who come into your lives and teach you lessons that you're like, woo, I wasn't ready, but thanks.
I'm a better person.
I know
now,
what
I don't want.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, and that brings up the other thing. So you know what you want, but you also need to know what you don't want in this community. It is very important.
And communicating what you don't want.
Yes.
Immediately it happens and you're like, you got me confused
with someone else.
And so, you know, and at that point when you're correcting, correcting
with kindness.
Exactly. You're driving, steering the ship, and you're like, someone is leading you astray, and you're like, you fucked up a bit here. We are going north, and Yoko saying we're going east. And I'm like, I just want to check in that you agree this was a mistake, right? Are we still going north, or you give someone also that choice to be like, actually, it's a bit complicated for me to continue steering north.
I think the thing is, we stop making assumptions. Because I think that happens.
Say what you mean. Is it John Mayer who had that song? Say what you mean and mean what you say.
Ebu sing it? I don't know it.
Anyway, I can't on the spot. You know, I don't want to have a record label.
Just Wandia with offers, the vocals.
You know.
Wandia can sing, by the way. BGV.
But for real, like, I feel like that should be that's my key thing. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Because I will go back to horoscopes, and hopefully one day we'll have an episode on that. But I feel like I connect with this aspect of being blunt. I feel like whenever something goes wrong in something, I will be outrightly to show it either with words or actions. And that has never come difficult to me. Maybe so for some people will be like, oh, maybe I'm not as sensitive, or maybe, oh, damn, your feedback is like a bit hard. But that is something that has always been fundamental for me, even just for my peace of mind, that I let that feedback go. So whatever this person who was receiving that feedback will do with it, let them do what. It's more about you. But for me, my soul will be nice and light because I said what needed to be said at that point. Because either you messed up with what we agreed, or I'm feeling this, so I need to communicate it. But also I think now within the community is for people to appreciate that, wait, Wandia is this type of a person. When she says this, it's not Ati to hurt me. It's just because she cares about where we are and what we want to achieve, and that this is our relationship. It's open, it's honest. It's one that values communication. And I just hope that everyone who I let in whatever way would be like, whenever I'm raising up those things, it's like, oh, okay, actually Wandia values me so much that she can be honest with me. You know, not so many people are like that.
No, because people don't want to be told. And it's a shame. And I'm like, then those people don't need to be in your community, because I feel like sometimes we have unwarranted hope on people And I'm like, you know what, just let them go.
Yeah. Sometimes
Let
I'm
them
like,
go.
I want more negative feedback in my life so that I can know where I'm going wrong. Do you sometimes feel like, can you give me more critical feedback to improve upon? Don't tell me, oh, it's good. Oh, it's lovely. Oh, that is valuable.
And you know
feedback.
that's performance. People are performing.
Tell me
they are performing.
the way you said this. I wish you said it in this way. So that I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry that it hurt to say this.
Yeah.
But I really do feel that the way you did this resulted in these emotions.
But is that apology if you're saying I'm sorry? You feel this way.
No, for real. Then if you trust me, like let's say you tell me that, oh, the way you came at me about this, I felt kind of attacked. And I'll be like, oh, I really didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Yeah. I can imagine the way maybe my words were a bit hard and maybe the situation was like this. Yeah. But my intention was A, B, C.
But you know, also, I feel like people generally don't get negative feedback, or when negative feedback is given, it's towards the end of a relationship. You know what I mean? Like, we are ending this thing, so I'll give you this. But in day-to-day relationships, if you give someone negative feedback, people feel a type of way.
It's like, okay, let's close the books.
I know. Why?
Good day to everyone.
Yeah, why? Because we are not that great. I'm sorry, but we are human. Yes. So there are things we don't know how to do well, especially when we are dealing with other people, because we kind of show people we love people, or we express our emotions to people the way we want them to express to us. And that person has a different way of wanting to be expressed to. You understand? I don't want to bring up the concept of the love languages, because that is simplistic as hell, and I don't believe that shit. I mean, good for you if you do, but yeah, I find it very simplistic. But do you understand? But that the five love languages are kind of based on that tenet, which has a point, which is that people want to be loved a certain way, right? So if I meet you one day, I will love you the way I've probably loved every other person before. Yes. But you want something separate from me, right? So by the time I get to love you the way you want to be loved, it has involved a lot of feedback from you. Then someone will take it the bad way and be like, that person, is only seeing the bad side of me, blah, 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 which is a shame. And then you end the friendship. Yes. Meanwhile, and that's why there's a thread that on Twitter, this person is called Zoe Samudi. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm probably really killing it. But I'm butchering it. But she said that love is not this feeling that you have for some. There's labor. There's labor in that love. And people, if they are not willing to do the labor, they should be more honest with it. So let me read it. She said, I wish love necessarily meant an overlap between a person's love for you and you being loved the way you need to be loved. Then she wrote, I'm assuming she's she. Anyway, I wish declarations of love weren't just an expression of desire, but also necessarily an articulation of willingness to labor for love. You see what I'm saying? Because so it's not
willingness.
Yes. A willingness to labor for love. So it's not easy such that you call me out. Okay, I have issues with calling out culture. But you tell me something.
Yeah, you give me critical feedback.
Yeah, you give me that
and
feedback.
I accept it.
And I accept it. It's not you're giving me this feedback, this friendship is a wrap. That's not the way it should work. Yeah. And I'm talking about someone who has ended friendships because of that. Yes. I mean, I'm growth, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Yeah. So then she continues to say, I wish limits to our love didn't often come from desires to love people we want for ourselves in a way that wasn't personally inconvenient. You see, we want the easy. We want the easy.
We really do want the easy.
We do want the easy. And that's not how it is. And that's why we say we are hurt. We say it's hurt. We don't want to be vulnerable. We don't, because we don't want to do the work. We only want to do the work, by the way, in romantic relationships. Like someone proved me wrong. Yeah. someone prove me wrong. I feel like
nobody finna come up.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a damn shame because one person will not be it for you, and that's the truth. That is the goddamn truth, you know? Yeah.
Points have been made.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll link the thread in the show notes I'll link all the things we've kind of discussed in the show notes. Yeah. So Wandia,
hey,
what are your thoughts?
Like
at the
I
end,
am everywhere.
At the end of this,
so many things. Like so many things are popping up in my mind when you think about community, and I'm thinking of vulnerability. I'm thinking of community. I'm thinking about that choice when it comes to community, and I'm just like, just try harder. I don't know. It's just be open. Resist everything that your environment is trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Because if we look at our environments right now, I think wherever we are, things are messed up. And I feel like the revolution will come through our communities, through the love that we show through those communities, the way we're able to be open to add more people to our communities. Yes. Of course, with the necessary boundaries, of course. But let's try to be better, to be more open, to be vulnerable, to communicate, all these things. Like, those are the things that are running through my mind right now.
Yeah.
And basically.
Okay, for me, I think we should realize that mistakes will be made.
Yeah.
And you learn the lesson.
1000%.
But I feel like, hardening yourself, while it is expected, I feel like that limits your living. And as someone who's very anti-capitalist, I feel like that's what capitalism wants us to do. So I feel like let us show love, let us show kindness to people around us, because you know what, this life is hard, man. Especially being Kenyan, this life is so hard. We need to band together. We need to come together and love each other and create these communities. We need to be better friends. We need to be better people. We need to just be loving. And I love you, all my friends and my family.
Yeah.
And
tell someone you love them.
Actually, that's the takeaway today.
Exactly.
And I don't mean I don't mean like someone you say that you love them all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like someone who you love but you've not told them.
Yeah.
I think today is a good day to tell them. The day you're listening to this episode.
Yes. Today is the day. No time like the present.
Amen. Yeah.
And I think that's it from me.
That's it for us now. So, Wandia, what are you listening to?
So, of late, I've been listening to Ghana.
Oh my God, yes, I know who Ghana
is.
But first of all, she's not talking about like it's not spelled like Arsenal Ghana. It's
Gunna.
Yes.
For all my homies up and their joints.
He sounds like every other trap artist to me.
Well, of course, Chico must come with the hating. Some of us have to recognize. Like, I can tell who Playboy Cardi is. Ghana is this other dude. Like, everybody coming with their magic. I'm going to respect them all. But I don't know, maybe it's this season that I am in my life that I've been listening to a lot of trap. And but Ghana has really come through with that album called Drip, or is it Drown Trying? I mean, that is also so catchy. I mean, the album art is him underwater. He has an umbrella and he's in a full suit. Like, wow, I stand so much.
Yeah.
I feel it. And I mean, even in this life right now, you're forced into positions that you're like, girl, all that's carrying me is this nice top that I'm wearing. Yeah, so the drip is for life, to be honest.
I guess so. Meanwhile, I'm listening to Mahalia. She's a British musician, and her song Grateful, I mean, for sure will be one of the top songs I've heard this year. I listen to it like all the time. It is so good. Oh my and the video is just like, I really, really, really like her vibe. I like her vibe so much. Mahalia, yeah.
Hey.
And so if you're listening to this, it is before my favorite of faves, Erosh, launches his EP.
Oh my God, we must all show up,
please,
guys.
Show up for my fave.
Excuse me.
For my fave. Okay.
And for me, it's like an adopted fave, because Shiko is the one who took me for the first concert of Erosh. And let me just say, it's a shame. He's not where he deserves to be right
I agree.
now.
I agree. You know,
let's just be honest.
As in, let's call a spade a spade. Honestly.
Content, 1,000%.
Yes.
Performance, 1,000%. I mean, he's also cute. Like, it only helps. But I'm just saying, yo.
Yeah. Let me give you the information.
Yes.
So the EP is being launched on 14th of June at Michael Joseph Center.
Hey.
The tickets are 1,000 bob. They are available on MOOC.
We bought our tickets.
I was the first one.
There we go.
The day they landed, I bought it.
How about you?
That is support,
How about
man.
you?
That is support. So support my fave. Check out his music on YouTube.
Have a good time.
I'll be there.
If you want to come in, Shika.
Try.
There won't be Friendiverse merch yet, but
we will be there.
We will be there.
Yes. So thanks guys, and always thanks for listening and thanks for sharing, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye. This podcast episode is recorded with the assistance of Courier. You can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, or anywhere else you listen to podcasts.